Day 2 of the NFL Draft has just wrapped up, and we're here to talk about the winners and the losers of those rounds. There's a lot of teams that made good picks. There's a lot of teams that were aggressive. There's boom or bust plays. Fans seem indifferent on every team so far. But we're going to give you a quick recap with the winners and losers from Day 2.
This is All Access, your home for fantasy sports talk.
What's up? My name's Bradley with All Aqcess Sports, your home for fantasy sports this season. If you've been to the channel before, you know we love talking fantasy sports each and every week. We do daily fantasy sports talk with our sleepers, studs, and stacks. We do live best ball drafts leading up to the season, as well as player rankings, running backs, tight ends, wide receivers that you can get early and often in your fantasy football draft. So subscribe to the channel so you don't miss one of those videos, but that's not why we're here today. We're here to discuss the NFL draft and our winners and a couple of losers from Day 2. We're not looking at what picks were gained, what trades were made, just player assets that were obtained on Day 2. For our losers, we got to start off with the San Francisco 49ers, solely on the fact that you drafted a kicker in round 3 of the NFL draft. There are quite literally hundreds of guys, athletes out there that don't currently have a job, that are great kickers. Adopt, don't shop for your kickers. The Carolina Panthers, I don't hate the pick for DJ Johnson, but you gave up a ton just to move up and draft him to the Pittsburgh Steelers. New defensive coordinator Avila probably saw something special on tape. He's a freakish athlete, but he's very unpolished, had some character issues when he punched a fan on the field. I'm gonna wait on this one. And now a couple of winners who just missed the cut, because I don't want you to come after me and be like, where was my team? How come you didn't say my team? My team crushed it. Yeah, they might have, but this is a top 5. I only have so much room on my screen over here. So just missing the cut would be the Buffalo Bills, who got a ton of value. It seems like every player they drafted kind of fell to them, luckily. O'Cyrus Torrence and Dorian Williams from Tulane, 2 really good pieces that are going to benefit that team a lot. Green Bay Packers, nice draft, but I simply cannot award you enough for getting a tight end in back-to-back rounds. I feel like there was a number of other needs that you had and you didn't attack. Day 3 better be a big one for you. And finally, the Tennessee Titans go out and get quarterback Will Levis. A lot of fans are excited about that. It saved him from plummeting even farther to the earth. However, it was fun watching him and his girlfriend squirm on national TV for a little bit. I do wish him the best of luck in the NFL, though. The last honorable mention would be the Cincinnati Bengals, who did a lot to help out that defense, and they are going to be just fine in the AFC North this year, but that division as a whole is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Now, coming in at number 5, I left it up on the board so you would know exactly who we're talking about. It's the Arizona Cardinals. Go ahead, bust me in the comments if you want. They added BJ Ojulari from LSU, and depending on who you ask, is either going to be a great player or an NFL bust. He's like 6'2", so he's a little bit undersized for a defensive end or an edge rusher. Got great hands. He's technically sound as a rusher. It's a lot more weight to move in the NFL. They add Garrett Williams to a defensive back situation that desperately needs help, and then you add Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson is a wide receiver who's been kind of injury plagued in his entire career at Stanford, and it's only fitting that he goes to Arizona, who has a wide receiver room who has been injury plagued over the past few years. It's very fitting. Coming in at number 4, it's the New York Giants. Trying to get help for the man they just overpaid in Danny Dime Jones. They got massive offensive line help from a guy with 3 names in John Michael Schmitz from Minnesota. He's a lineman who's extremely hard to move. It's like he has cement blocks on his feet. He's very difficult to move vertically. However, when it comes to recovery, he does struggle at times. Should be fine in the NFL, though. And they also picked up wide receiver Jalen Hyatt, who somehow fell to the 3rd round. He comes from the University of Tennessee. So if you're into things like the SEC is the best schools on the planet, he somehow, some way got open every single Saturday and made special plays. This is a huge receiving threat for the Giants and a major addition. Coming in at number 3, it's the Denver Broncos. I think they knew what they wanted to do and went out and did it. They added wide receiver depth for Russell Wilson with the addition of Marvin Mims out of Oklahoma. Now, I don't know if wide receiver was your biggest need. I guess they were injury plagued last year, so that has cause for concern. But he is a special playmaker. A little bit small, but extremely explosive, big addition for any wide receiver room. Then they go out and get a great special athlete rusher in Drew Sanders from Arkansas and a great Iowa defender in Riley Moss. If you watched Iowa football over the last, 3-4 years, that defense is always stellar. Riley Moss is one of the cornerstones of that team. Number 2, And this is a bit of a surprise for me, a massive turnaround from day one. The Detroit Lions. I gave them a hard time yesterday by getting Jahmyr Gibbs in a room that already was loaded with running back talent. They crushed day 2 of the NFL draft. They add another player from Iowa in tight end Sam LaPorta, safety Brian Branch from Alabama. He is one of the best defensive backs in all of the country, one of the best tacklers in the country on a team that desperately needs help tackling. It's one of the most simple things you can do on defense, and somehow they were terrible at it. I mean, I'm not the one out there trying to tackle a 220-pound man running at me full speed, so I'll keep my mouth shut on the tackling aspect. And they also add Hendon Hooker, who could have been a round 1 quarterback if healthy, maybe a top 3 quarterback, not top 3 pick, but top 3 quarterback if healthy. Now gets the opportunity to learn behind Jared Goff and is kind of eased into his role. He is older, so people will say it's not a long-term choice. It's fine. And then finally, Broderick Martin, another defensive lineman to plug up the middle that Dan Campbell desperately needed. Coming in at number 1 for best day 2 of the NFL Draft 2023 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't want to hear anyone argue with this, okay? You picked up Joey Porter Jr., the perfect landing spot for him. Family is staying with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's staying in Pennsylvania. An absolute home run choice. Keanu Benton is a bigger bodied guy that's going to be able to help protect Kenny Pickett, and most importantly, give some advanced running room for Najee Harris and the other running backs. Then you add Darnell Washington, one of the best tight ends in the entire draft, one of the best tight end prospects over the past few years. Very, very late in day 2. I'm in love with this pick. There are some medical concerns, but if you watch the tape, the guy was a freakish athlete. He has some problems with drops, but that might not be the reason you want him in there. If you want to be a hard-nosed team under Mike Tomlin and run the ball, this is the perfect guy to move some bodies. Najee Harris, like I said, is going to have no issue running behind this offensive line this year. Congratulations, Steelers. You crushed day 2 of the NFL Draft. That's going to do it for this video. I really appreciate you watching. Like I said, we kind of try and keep things fast-paced here. I love talking with you. I love talking with you in the comments, on Twitter, on Facebook, All Aqcess Sports, wherever you want to communicate. Let's talk. I really appreciate you watching. I hope you come back for more fantasy football takes as we get closer to the NFL season. I'm excited for the player rankings, and those best ball drafts are probably the most fun we can have in a live stream. So I really look forward to you coming back. I appreciate it, and thank you for watching.